Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to learn the front kick, which is also called a snap kick. We're also going to learn the thrust kick. In the martial arts, the front kick is one of the most commonly used kicks. It can be used for low, mid-level, and high targets. However, we're only going to be focusing on low and mid-level targets. The reason is to do a high kick requires very good flexibility, good mastery of balance, and because it can leave you vulnerable or open to attack for an unacceptably long period of time while you're recovering your leg. You already have great arm techniques for the upper body, so we're going to focus our feet on lower targets. The steps of a front kick can be illustrated in 3 steps. Step 1 is where you point your knee at your target while keeping your leg bent. Step 2 is fully extending your lower leg out. Step 3 is pulling your lower leg back and lowering your whole leg back to the ground. And step 3 is just as important as the other 2. If you kick out and leave your leg in the air too long, your aggressor can grab your leg, which usually results in you or the fight going to the ground. So pull your kick back just as fast as it was kicked out. Now, obviously, you're not going to do 3 discrete steps in a self-defense situation, but you need to learn the components to understand the whole. A fluid front kick done slowly looks like this. As you can see, the components flow as one, but they're there. When looking at the kick in action, you can see why it's also called a snap kick, from the snapping action of the lower leg. We'll assume that we're almost always using this technique with closed shoes or solid-soled open sandals on. So the toe or the top of the foot as the striking point will work equally well. If you ever get in a violent altercation with flip-flops on, it's best to toss them off and fight barefoot as they represent too much of a tripping hazard. Okay, let me demonstrate a few kicks done slowly. You'll note that while I'm doing the kicks, I maintain my guard. Also, notice the power generation that is done in this technique. It starts by surging the kicking side of my body forward, which generates power and flows it to my upper leg, which starts the lift, which generates more power and flows it to my lower leg. Okay, let's do a set together. I'm going to do the first 2 kicks on each side, step by step, then I'll transition to a flowing kick. Here we go. Great job. You've just done your first kick. Now we'll move on to the thrust kick. There are two main kicking actions in almost all of the kicks found in the martial arts: snapping and thrusting. Snapping kicks, like the front kick we just did, are fast, where thrust kicks are a bit slower. However, thrust kicks are powerful, where snap kicks can be a little bit less so. Both can be devastatingly used on the right target with good technique. You just learned a snapping type of kick, and now you'll learn a thrusting one. Like a snapping kick, the first step of the thrust kick is to bring your knee up. However, you don't aim your knee at the target with a thrust. You bring it up as close to your chest as you can. The second step is to thrust the whole leg out in one motion. Unlike a snap kick where the lower leg extends after the upper leg stops, a thrust kick extends the whole leg at the same time. As you can see, where the snapping kick strikes up, the thrust kick strikes out. Okay, let me demonstrate a few kicks on each side. Notice that my power generation is different for this kick. Instead of surging the kicking side of my body forward as I raise my leg, I actually retract my body at the hip slightly. After my upper leg is raised, I thrust out my leg by surging my hips forward, not my whole body. If you've ever watched a police officer kick a door in on like a reality TV show, assuming they use good technique, you'll often see these body mechanics in action. Although not self-defense oriented, kicking a door in is a good example of the power a thrust kick can generate, as a snapping kick wouldn't work in that scenario. Okay, let's do a set together. Awesome job. Now we're going to move on to the last two leg techniques, which are in the next lesson. I'll see you there.